Alright, boys, welcome back to Historical Quarrel. Today we're going to be talking about motherfucking pig war. Also, don't have any sponsors today, so, I don't know, I'm looking more into that. I've just been a little lazy. That's kind of my bad. Going to be very upfront, not as well researched. You'll essentially just be joining me in my journey, reading through a couple of articles, Wikipedia, then looking at the references and everything about this. All I know really is that it was started because of a pig, and so yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Let's dig in and enjoy our time together, shall we? Let me start by saying, the Pig War was a confrontation in 1859 between the United States and the United Kingdom over the British-U.S. border in the San Juan Highlands, between Vancouver Island, present-day Canada, and the state of Washington. Ooh, that's the state I grew up in. So let's go on. The Pig War, so called because it was triggered by the shooting of a pig, is also called the Pig Episode, the Pig and Potato War, and the San Juan Boundary Dispute, and the Northwestern Boundary Dispute. Despite being referred to as a war, aside from the pig, there were no casualties on either side. Oh, that poor pig bastard. Fucking the only one to die in a war. It's like, that sucks. Basically a very, very, friendly war, and no one fucking died. So, all right, let's go to the background here. There's some border ambiguity, I suppose. The Oregon Treaty of June 15th, 1846 resolved the Oregon boundary dispute by dividing the Oregon Country/Columbia District between the United States and Britain along the 49th parallel of north latitude to the middle of the channel which separates the continent from Vancouver Island, and then southerly through the middle of the said channel and the Strait of Juan de Fuca to the Pacific Ocean. No idea what the fuck any of those are. So let's go ahead and take a look at where Strait de Fuca is. Okay, that's a little above Washington. Okay, so yeah, that's still there today. Yeah, just above. You can actually take a ferry by those waters if you really wanted to. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little area right there. It's super pretty. Right by the, well, I guess you're in the Pacific technically. So, but yeah, it's Salish Sea outlet to the Pacific Ocean. So you're not quite in it. It's international boundary between Canada and the U.S. currently. It was named in 1787 by the maritime fur trader Charles William Barclay, captain of the Imperial Eagle for Juan de Fuca. I am not gonna get over saying that name. I love that name, Juan de Fuca. Ma de Fuca. Okay, the Greek navigator who sailed in a Spanish expedition in 1592 to seek the fabled Strait of Anian, which I think is semi-mythical strait documented from around 1560 that was believed by early modern cartographers to mark the boundary between North America and Asia to permit access to the Northwest Passage from the Arctic Ocean to the Pacific. The true strait was discovered in 1728 and became known as the Bering Strait. The Strait of Anian had been generally placed nearby, but sometimes appeared as far south as California. So it's essentially like this mythical cartographer route. That's what the Strait of Anian is. Anyways, back to the main point. However, there are actually two straits that could be called the middle of the channel: the Haro Strait along the west side of the San Juan Islands, and the Rosario Strait along the east side. Okay, let's go see what the Haro Strait is. The Haro Strait, often referred to as Haro Straits because it is really a series of straits, is one of the main channels connecting the Strait of Georgia to the Strait of Juan de Fuca, separating Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands in British Columbia, Canada, from the San Juan Islands of Washington State in the United States. Haro Strait is a critical part of the route of the international boundary between Canada and the United States. From the western terminus of the 49th parallel, we might be spoiling ourselves here as to what they determine the correct strait to be. It seems to be Haro. Anyways, and then the Rosario Strait, straight in northern Washington State, separating San Juan County and Skagit and Whatcom County It extends from the Strait of Juan de Fuca, about 23 kilometers, north to the Strait of Georgia. The USGS defines its southern boundary as a line extending from the point of Colville on Lopez Island. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so... Alright, so we do take San Juan. Okay. Alright, so that's, it's actually... Okay. Anyways, In 1846, there was still some uncertainty about the geography of the region. The most commonly available maps were those of George Vancouver, published in 1798, and of Charles Wilkes, published in 1845. In both cases, the maps are unclear in the vicinity of the southeastern coast of Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands. As a result, Haro Strait is not fully clear either. In 1856, the U.S. and Britain set up a boundary commission to resolve a number of issues regarding the international boundary, including the water boundary from the Strait of Georgia to the Strait of Juan de Fuca. The British appointed James Charles Prevost, first commissioner, George Henry Richards, second commissioner, and William A.G. Young, secretary. The U.S. appointed, Archibald Campbell, first commissioner, John Park, second commissioner, and William J. Warren, secretary. On June 27, 1857, the American and British commissioners met for the first time on board the British ship HMS Satellite. Oh, wow. Anchored in Esquimalt Harbor. The two sides met several more times in 1857. Esquimalt Harbor and Nanaimo Harbor, and corresponded by letter between meetings. The water boundary was discussed from October to December. From the start, Prevost maintained that the Rosario Strait was required by the treaty's wording and was intended by the treaty farmers, while Campbell had the same opinion for the Haro Strait. Prevost held that the channel specified in the treaty must have three key qualities. It must separate the continent from Vancouver Island. It must carry the boundary in a southerly direction. It must be navigationable. Oh my god, I can't say one word. Goddamn English, making it difficult. Okay, fucking English, man. All right. Only Rosario fulfilled these requirements, he wrote. Campbell countered that the expression southerly in the treaty was to be understood in a general sense, that Rosario Strait did not separate the continent from Vancouver Island, but the San Juan Islands from the Lumi Islands, Cypress Island, Fidalgo Island, and others. And that navigability was not germane to the issue. But even if it was, Haro Strait was the wider and more direct passage, which, by looking at the maps, yeah, kinda. Finally, he challenged Prevost to produce any evidence showing that the treaty farmers had intended Rosario Strait. Prevost responded to the challenge by referring to American maps showing the boundary running through Rosario Strait, included one by John C. Fremont, produced for and published by the U.S. government, and another by John B. Preston, Surveyor General of Oregon in 1852. To other points, Prevost repeated his statements about Rosario Strait's navigability, the channels between Lumi, Cypress, Fidalgo Islands not being navigable, and that a line through Rosario would be southerly, while one through Haro would be drawn westerly, which... Pulling up the maps now. Oh wait, actually Rosario is the better one, because Rosario is more of like a you like navigate past the islands, whereas Haro is like you're trying to like zigzag between them. So the British were just trying to fucking take more land. Fucking assholes. Never mind. Fuck the British here. Okay. Okay. The two continues because the issue till neither be convinced to the other. Prevost made a final offer at the 6th meeting, December 3rd. He suggested a compromise line through the San Juan Channel, which would give the U.S. all the main islands except San Juan Island. The offer was rejected, and the commission adjourned, agreeing to report back to the respective governments. Thus, ambiguity over the water boundary remained. So they essentially, commissioned all these guys to go out and try and work something out, and they fucking did nothing. Like most things in history, you get all these people who try and like make an agreement, and it leads to fucking nothing because no one can ever agree. Because fucking greed, man. It's all about that greed. You gotta have the most land. You gotta be the coolest, yeah. In addition to having to be the coolest, you have to, fucking just take over everything, all the goddamn time. Because of this ambiguity, both the United States and Britain claimed sovereignty over the San Juan Islands, of course. During this period of disputed sovereignty, Britain's Hudson Bay Company established operations on San Juan and turned the island into a sheep ranch. Motherfuckers. Meanwhile, by mid-1859, 25 to 29 American settlers had arrived. San Juan Island held significance not for its size, but as a military strategic point. Here we go. While the British held Fort Victoria on Vancouver Island to the west, overlooking the Strait of Juan de Fuca, the entry point to Haro Strait, leading to the Strait of Georgia, the nation that held San Juan Islands, would be able to dominate all the straits connecting to the Strait of Juan de Fuca with the Strait of Georgia. Here we go. So they just wanted an advantage, un avantage, just in case, they're like, oh, we can fucking take America back for the Queen. The Queen needs America, and this would be a great military point. Fucking assholes, man. The British sucked back then. God damn. Let's see. Political context. General George B. McClellan, George Pickett's West Point classmate and lifelong friend, claimed that General William S. Harney and Pickett conspired with a cabal to start a war with Britain, creating a common enemy to head off north-south confrontation. However, General Granville O'Halloran debunked McClellan's theory. He said they had wanted to start a war, but with the hope of distracting the North so the South could secede from the Union. Oh yeah, this is all happening during fucking Civil War era. Shit, man. Fucking crazy. The theories are given credence when it is noted that Major General Silas Casey, then a lieutenant colonel and deputy commander of the 9th Infantry Regiment, was reduced to a support role for Captain George Pickett, who was given independent jurisdiction over a vast area by Harney, then a brevet major, and was also passed over by Harney in favor of Pickett when given this choice command. On the other hand, it can be said that Lieutenant Colonel Casey had not been reduced, for he was given command over the USS Massachusetts, a major hauler to protect and supervise the water of Puget Sound. He was given discretion to deviate from his orders based on military experience. His textbook of infantry tactics was used at the West Point during the Civil War. Okay, we are now to the pig incident. After all that pretext, after all that British bullshit and shenanigans, fucking just trying to sneak attack us in the future. On June 15th, 1859, exactly 13 years after the adoption of the Oregon Treaty, the ambiguity led to direct conflict. Lyman Cutler, an American farmer who had moved on to San Juan Island claiming rights to live there under the Donation Land Claim Act, which, this is some bullshit. If you guys don't know what that is, it was a statute enacted by the United States Congress in late 1850 intended to promote homestead settlements in the Oregon Territory. It followed the Distribution Preemption Act, 1841, the law, a forerunner to the later Homestead Act, brought thousands of settlers into new territory. Swelling their ranks along the Oregon Trail, land patents were issued under law, which expired in late 1855. The Donation Land Claim Act allowed white men or partial Native Americans mixed with white who had arrived in Oregon before 1850 to work on a piece of land for 4 years and legally claim the land for themselves. So essentially let white people steal land, and it let, half, not even really half, but I'm pretty sure you had to be mostly white and then partially native in order to claim land still, which is super fucked up. Because natives just kept their land, god damn it. For those that don't know, I'm not even gonna really claim, but my great grandpa, he was 50% Sioux, so I just, I've studied a lot of the history, and it's pretty sad. Pretty sad what the fuck we did. Anyways, he found a pig rooting in his garden and eating his tubers. This was not the first occurrence, and as a result, Cutler shot the pig, killing it. It turned out the pig was owned by an Irishman, Charles Griffin, who was employed by the Hudson Bay's company to run the sheep ranch on the island. He also owned several pigs that he allowed to roam freely. Gotta get them free roam pigs. That's how to get the tastiest bacon. You know, your sheep ranch, you gotta have those pigs roaming around all free, willy-nilly like, and fucking getting into everybody's shit. Fucking asshole. Goddamn. There's a reason why. Pigs don't give a fuck, man. They taste the same if you fucking cage them. If you you want to give them a little bit of space, you know, give them time to, like, get their wiggles out and shit, but they're all gonna fucking die and turn to bacon. So free roam doesn't do jack shit unless they're your fucking pets, okay? If it's a pet, fine. Anyways, the two had lived in peace until this incident. Cutler offered $10, equivalent to about $300 in 2021, to Griffin to compensate for the pig. But Griffin was unsatisfied with this offer and demanded $100, equivalent to $3,000. Oh, damn, that's an expensive pig. $10? I mean, $300 for a pig? That's pretty fair. That's fair. Okay, but he thinks his pig's worth $3,000 fucking dollars. That bacon better shit like fucking gold too. Like, god damn, that's ridiculous. Following this reply, Cutler believed he should not have to pay for the pig because the pig had been trespassing on his land, which it had been. It was a wild fucking animal, and he shot and killed it. I completely agree with Cutler at this point. So, one likely apocryphal account has Cutler saying to Griffin, "It was eating my potatoes," and Griffin replying, "It's up to you to keep your potatoes out of my pig." What a fucking dickish thing to say if that actually happened. Holy shit. Like, yeah, no, that'd be like, you have, dogs that you just kind of let walk around, outside, and it goes into your neighbor's, yard and fucking rips up, some of its shit, and then, your neighbor's like, "Hey, can you get your dog fucking, to stop tearing up my petunias or whatever?" And then you go and say, hey, it's up to you to keep your petunias out of my fucking dog, okay? Like, if you don't want your petunias ripped up, maybe they shouldn't be there. My dog's gonna do whatever the fuck it wants. And this is sad to say, if that was my neighbor and the dog kept coming over and it started like harassing me or was like harassing my kids, I'd fucking shoot it. Like, this is not controversial, but after the neighbor had been warned plenty of times, which in this case it seems like it happened, fucking it's gonna die. Like, I live in a state where I don't know if that is fully allowed. Animal cruelty laws. I don't know. If it was gonna attack my kid, though, like if it started like trying to bite at him, I'd kill it. Because I value my kid over a dog any day of the week, and anybody who says otherwise is fucking lying and doesn't have kids. Anyways, when British authorities threatened to arrest Cutler, American settlers called for military protection. Fuck yeah, dude. Which is what leads into the military escalation here. Brigadier General William S. Harney, commanding the Department of Oregon, initially dispatched Captain George Pickett and 66 American soldiers of the 9th Infantry Regiment under Pickett's command to San Juan Island with orders to prevent the British from landing. The regiment sailed aboard the USS Massachusetts, concerned that a squatter population of Americans would begin to occupy San Juan Island if the Americans were not kept in check. The British sent 3 warships under the command of Captain Geoffrey Hornby to counter the Americans. Pickett was quoted as saying defiantly, "We'll make a Bunker Hill out of it." Oh, damn, dude. Fucking bringing up the past. We're gonna Bunker Hill, you motherfuckers. Placing him in national limelight. Yeah, I bet that did. That is a ballsy ass quote to try and do. Bunker Hill was a crazy incident where we essentially like fucked up the British Army. I mean, like, they ended up losing, but like not really. Like, the amount of casualties on the British side were just staggering. Pickett cited his they lost. Did they lose that battle? I'm not gonna let myself get misquoted. Did we lose? Yeah, 115 killed. Whew! Then they had 207 soldiers killed and 766. Damn, they lost a lot. The British came to war, colonial forces. Okay, so yeah, it was still a victory for the British. However, yeah, no, they just lost way too many troops. So, yeah, so I was right about that. Okay, good to know. my memory does work there. Yeah. And we're back. Sorry, I had to take a quick little break there. I was getting a little thirsty. Anyways, yeah, so the British technically won Bunker Hill, but not really, because they fucking lost, like, way more than we did. And that's, like, if I really wanted to, I'd probably get more into the Revolutionary War. Crazy shit. I had a history teacher who was super into it, so I had to learn a lot about it in his class. Anyways, Pickett sighted his company and battery near the Hudson's Bay Company's Bellevue Sheep Farm, located near today's Counterpoint Light, and directly under the guns of HMS Satellite, a British ship. When this tactical error was pointed out, Captain Pickett moved his battery of cannon a few miles north to high ground overlooking both Griffin Bay and the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and commanded to build a redoubt for his cannon. A redoubt or redoubt. God damn, I can't speak. Redoubt is a fort or fort system, usually consisting of an enclosed defensive encampment or emplacement outside a larger fort, usually relying on earthworks. So, like, you build up some dirt. So it's just like a dirt fortress, kind of. It's something to take cover under when you need to. Pretty neat thing. They used to have to do it a lot. I believe that still happens in some cases nowadays, and depending on certain, environments where you're fighting, you just build a little sand bunker to hide out and hopefully not get shot. So, Pickett established the American camp near the south of San Juan Island, today one of two historical sites on the island, the other being the British camp, defended by Royal Marines on the north end of the island. The camp redoubt was built under supervision of new West Point graduate, 2nd Lieutenant Henry Martin Robert. Robert went on to become a general in the Army of Potomac during the American Civil War, and author of Robert's Rules of Order. Oh, I just said that like Ordor. Fucking Mordor. I got Lord of the Rings on the brain, guys. Fucking been watching Rings of Power. Not horrible. Not good either. I have a lot of mixed feelings on it. But not good. And which sucks, because it's Lord of the Rings and you just want it to be extra good, but it's not as bad as some people are claiming. Like I watched this guy called Critical Drinker, and I feel like he's a little too cynical about it. It's not as bad as he points out. For him, I feel like he just sees the message fucking everywhere that leftists are, always trying to point out, or I don't know. But those themes are sometimes just kind of inherent in story, and so I like to look past that. I like to look at like the way it's shot, a whole bunch of things. Anyways, tangent over about that. Robert's Redoubt is considered the best preserved fortification of its kind in the United States. To the east is Jack's Lagoon, named for George Jackal, or Jackal's Lagoon, a soldier stationed at the American camp. Excuse me. The situation continued to escalate, and by August 10th, 1859, 461 Americans with 14 cannons under Colonel Silas Casey were opposed by 5 British warships mounting 70 guns and carrying 2,140 men. The governor of the colony of Vancouver Island, James Douglas, had ordered Captain Hornby to dislodge the American troops, avoiding armed conflict if possible. At the time, additional reinforcements sent by the American General Harney had not yet arrived, and the island was occupied by only Pickett's 66 men. Hornby refused to take any action until British Rear Admiral Robert L. Baines, who was in command of the British Navy in the Pacific, would arrive himself. When Baines finally came and took stock of the situation, he told Governor Douglas that he would not escalate the conflict into war between great nations over a squabble about a pig. Which, you sent, I mean, they sent fucking 5 warships. That's pretty fucking, that's escalated like crazy, man. That's what this is what this podcast is all fucking about. We take petty bullshit, like someone shooting a fucking pig, and we go to war about it. That's the American way, boys. Yeah, let's go. Anyways, but yeah, no, I mean, like, fucking, it was basically war. Like, we were gonna send 400 more people, and we were going to fight the British over the death of a pig, which would have been so fucking cool. Oh man. Well, I mean, like, we already kind of did. This is just ridiculous, anyways. When news about the crisis reached Washington and London, officials from both nations were shocked and took action to calm the potentially explosive international incident. U.S. President James Buchanan sent General Winfield Scott to negotiate with Governor Douglas and resolve the growing crisis. This was in the best interest of the United States, as sectionalist tensions within the country were increasing, soon to culminate in the Civil War. Scott had calmed 2 other border crises between the two nations in the late 1830s. He arrived in San Juan's in October and began negotiations with Douglas. As a result of the negotiations, both sides agreed to retain joint military occupation of the island until a final settlement could be reached, reducing their presence to a token force of no more than 100 men. The British camp were established on the north end of San Juan Island along the shoreline for ease of supply and access, and the American camp was created on the south end on a high, windswept meadow. Suitable for artillery barrages against shipping. Good to know. So they're like, if we really needed to, we could have just fucking cannoned you guys to fucking death. Today, the Union Jack still flies above the British campsite, being raised and lowered daily by park rangers, making it one of the few places without diplomatic status where U.S. government employees regularly hoist the flag of another country. Though this is only for commemorative purposes, so it's not like we're bowing down at all. It's just kind of, I think it's just kind of for shits and giggles. Like, they're kind of like, they thought it was funny. So, during the years of joint military occupation, the small British and American units on San Juan Island had an amicable and mutual social life, visiting one another's camps to celebrate their respective national holidays and holding various athletic competitions. Park rangers tell visitors the biggest threat to peace on the island during these years was the large amounts of alcohol available. No fucking doubt. Yeah, enough booze in anyone, they'll fucking go crazy. This state of affairs continued on for the next 12 years. The dispute was peacefully resolved after more than a decade of confrontation and military bluster, during which time the local British authorities consistently lobbied London to seize back the Puget Sound region entirely, as the Americans were busy elsewhere with the Civil War. Fucking capitalizing bastards. Goddamn. Whatever. In 1866, the colony of Vancouver Island was merged with the colony of British Columbia to form an enlarged colony of British Columbia. In 1871, the enlarged colony joined the newly formed Dominion of Canada. That year, the United Kingdom and the United States signed the Treaty of Washington, which dealt with various differences between the two nations, including border issues involving the newly formed Dominion. Among the results of the treaty was the decision to resolve San Juan dispute by international arbitration, with German Emperor Wilhelm I chosen to act as an arbitrator. Wilhelm referred the issue to a 3-man arbitration commission which met in Geneva for nearly a year. On October 21st, 1872, the commission decided in favor of the United States offer. Fuck yeah. The arbitrators chose the American preferred marine boundary via Haro Strait, because it does make more sense when you look at it, to the west of the islands over the British preference for the Rosario Strait, which lay to their east. On November 25th, 1872, the British withdrew their Royal Marines from the British camp, the Americans followed by July 1874. Because, we're always like, just in fucking case they're lying. Because, it was the British. They had a kind of a reputation about them for doing that. The Pig War is commemorated in San Juan Island National Historic Park. So, that's all. I kind of want to go see if that guy ever did get his fucking money back from that. Let's see. Griffin. Okay. Where the fuck is this thing? Do they not have this guy's? I just want to know if he ever got paid, or if anything like came out of it. All right, I'm gonna Google that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so investigated for a little bit here. Looks like he never got any money for the pig because of his refusal, and then the fact that it went to military escalation. So should have maybe accepted those $10 fucking instead of being an asshole and nearly inciting a international war between two super powerful nations. That's kind of all for today, guys. It's fun. I'm enjoying these. It's fun to kind of like read and learn with you guys. Let's see. Next week, we have plans for, looking through my notes. Gotta check the notes. Why don't I just have the notes on my hand? Never have the notes on my fucking hand. The AKO, or Ako Vendetta. Let's read a summary real quick. KO Vendetta. Okay. Oh, it's the 47 Ronin. Okay, that's cool. So it's a revenge incident. The Ako Vendetta, historical 18th century event in Japan, which a band of Ronin, or just samurai that didn't have like someone to serve, avenged the death of their master. The incident has since become legendary. So we'll be talking about that and the military conflicts that arose from this issue and essentially dispute of wrongful beheading. Hope you guys are enjoying. I'm having fun. Hoping my jokes are coming off a little bit more naturally now. I feel a little better talking into the mic. It's still a little weird talking to no one. Honestly, any criticisms, anything, I would love to hear it. I want to be better. I want the show to do better. I need to get an intro theme made. I want to create like specific segments in the future. I mean, right now, my outline's just kind of like starting the episode, read through it, kind of go through events leading up, and then outro. But anyways, I think it's just fucking crazy how this farmer was like, "Hey, your pig's fucking eating my shit," and then the guy was like, "Well, keep your shit out of my pig then." Like, goddamn. And like when he did, he demanded money for it, and he offered him honestly a pretty fair amount, like $10 back then, not bad, and about $300 today. So for a pig, that's like maybe not like amazing, but honestly pretty fair. I wouldn't say, and especially since the pig was fucking trespassing. I don't know. Yeah, crazy whole incident, guys. But seriously, any criticisms at all, send me an email. You can, actually here, I'll give out my personal email this one time, because I know not a lot of people listen to this. So it's ty-555@live.com. You can send it to there, or you can send it to historicalquarrels@gmail.com. I'll read them. I'll look through them. See what you guys like, what you don't like. I don't know, maybe I need to get like a sound guy or something for the show. And get someone to fucking help me out with like making an intro theme and all that stuff. But no, I'm loving it. I'm having a lot of fun learning and reading through all this shit. I think it's crazy. So you guys have a good one, and peace out.